Hello, here are 10 tips for the new event photographer. Number 1, arrive early. You need to find out who's in charge. Is there a coordinator there? You need to find out who that person is and let them know, first of all, that you have arrived. You need to know who that person is because you're going to have questions throughout the event, and it's good to have one person who knows everything that's going on that you can turn to and ask those questions. Meet the other people who are working at the event, and this is going to take a little bit of time. So, number 1, arrive early. Tip number 2, look up. The first thing I do when I arrive to a venue is I look up. Well, why am I looking up? I'm looking up because I'm trying to see what the ambient lighting is. In other words, what is the lighting setup here before I make any adjustments, and also so that I can know maybe which white balance to use. Do I need to do a custom white balance? Whatever the case may be, do I need to use a flash? And if I do use a flash, because of the lighting, will I need to correct my color as well within my flash to make my flash the same color as the ambient lighting in the room? And it may be outside. You still need to look up. Also, something that's very important while you're looking up, what color is the ceiling? You never know. It may be a plain white ceiling, which is what I love because that makes everything so simple. I just take a flash and I bounce it off the ceiling and I'm good for my lighting. But you will find some venues that have wood ceilings. You will have some that will have black ceilings. And that is information that you need to know when you're trying to prepare your lighting to shoot this event. So, look up. Tip number 3, eat before you arrive. Do not show up to an event hungry. Make sure that you have eaten when you get there. Most events are going to have food served there, but it's going to be much later in the event. And something that you need to keep in mind is that food may not be for you. Sometimes they have an exact amount of plates that are prepared for the ones who are attending, so that food may not even be for you. Most events, though, they will allow for you to eat when you get there, but this is something that you really need to talk about with the coordinator before the event begins, or actually while you're planning the event. Talk to the one who is hosting the event and just ask them, is it okay if me and my team partake in the food during the event? This needs to be communicated between you and the person holding the event so there's no confusion. That way, if they do offer food and you and your team are sitting down, taking a break, partaking in the food, we have no problems at all. But even still, don't arrive hungry. Don't be looking forward to that meal. Let it be an extra. Tip number 4, talk to the decorator about a finished table when you arrive. If you arrive early, all the decorations may not be complete yet, and if they are not, you need to talk to the decorator and ask them, is this a finished table? Sometimes it may look finished, but there may be some finishing touches that they're going to add to it. There may be a table that's already done, but you do need to shoot that table. So when you get there, find the decorator, ask them what is done, what is already decorated so you can start shooting it. Ask them when you think they will be complete with decorating everything. And then I would express to them that I'm going to need about 3 minutes to get a shot of the completed room. So you need to be prepared to do that. It needs to be a quick thing where everybody can get out, you can get the shot of the room, and you will have everything that you need for your full album when you turn it in to your client. Tip number 6, if it looks like money, shoot it. In other words, if it looks like the host of your event spent a lot of money getting something done, make sure that you shoot it and you shoot it well. If they have fresh flowers, you know that costs some money. You better shoot it. If they have an extravagant cake, you better take some extra time shooting it. If they have balloons that are just amazing in the backdrop, make sure that you shoot it. If you can tell they spend a lot of money on the food, you better make sure you shoot it. I mean, you know, it's something that you sort of want to run through in your mind and just scan the room. That candy table, oh my gosh, that's over the top. You better make sure that you get some good shots of it. If it looks like money, shoot it and shoot it well. Tip number 7, ABS. Always be shooting. Once you get there and you talk with everyone, and once you get your lighting set up and you start shooting, just don't stop. What you will find is, first of all, you don't want to miss any details or any special moments, but also while you're shooting this event, people are watching you and they're looking at your work ethic. They're looking at how you get the shots that you need. How do you interact with the crowd? And some of them are making a decision about if they would like to hire you if they ever had an event. So you know what? Always be shooting. When they look at you, be working, be getting some great shots, because you're not just trying to get great shots for today, but you're advertising for the future. I've had people come to me so many times at the end of an event and tell me, wow, you did a great job today shooting this event. Well, how do they know? Because they haven't even seen the pictures yet. They're judging how well I did at a job by how they perceived me shooting, about me being active and always getting the shot. So when you're at an event, make sure, ABS, that you are always shooting. Tip number 8, delete along the way. Now, first of all, I only recommend this for people who have 2 card slots. If you have 2 card slots, there's going to be 1 card that you're actually going to be viewing when you actually go back to review your shots. This is the card that I use to delete along the way. This simply is a time saver. So if you have some downtime, you know, we said always be shooting, but you will have moments when you have a minute or two to sort of go through what you've done. And if you see some shots that you know are not gonna make it out of your computer, you can go ahead and delete those pictures now. Maybe it's unflattering for the person in the picture, maybe eyes are closed. Things like that, things that you know you're not gonna work with, things that you know are not going to work for your customer. You can delete those along the way, and that will speed up your culling process once you get back to the computer. But again, I really only recommend this for people who have 2 card slots in their camera, because you know that other card will still be safe if you make a mistake, and sometimes you might. But my recommendation is to delete along the way. It'll save you some time in the long run. Tip number 9, have clear expectations of what your services are going to be. My recommendation is for you to have some type of contract, no matter how simple it is, but within that contract, make sure that you have the key information about what you are going to provide at the event. First of all, how long are you going to be shooting? When do you plan on starting, and when do you plan on stopping? And I know that we like to be kind, but people appreciate knowing that when 9 o'clock comes, that's when your contracted hours are done. And actually, once you go to a customer and you tell them it's 9 o'clock, my contracted hours are complete, would you like to add more hours to your service? That can be in your contract too. Just let them know if you do decide to go over the time, this is how much it will be. That way there's no resentment in the communication between you and your client, because you've talked about it already. They know that you're going to be there for 3 hours. Any hour after that is going to be a certain amount of money. Make sure that everything is clear. Are you setting up lighting there? And if you are setting up lighting, is it an extra cost? Make sure that you're clear when you are going through the booking process with your client. Also, what will be your deliverables? Is it a certain amount of pictures they're going to get? Are they going to get a digital album? Are there any prints expected with your package? Or Is it something that you offer that is purely digital? Is there going to be an option for an album once they finish? So all of these things are questions that you need to talk with your client about and make sure that everyone is clear on what the expectations are going to be for your services. Tip number 10, shoot manual. At least that's what I do. And this is my reasoning for it. When you are shooting an event and it is inside, the chances are that your lighting will be somewhat similar. So I think setting it to manual is picking my settings that I desire, and I can set it, and for the most part I can forget it, except for maybe adjusting my ISO up and down. Now, I know a lot of people shoot in aperture priority. I just find that I don't trust cameras that much. I like to have a little bit more control over everything. And I find that once I get my lighting set up the way that I like it, and I set it up in manual, I'm pretty happy with the shots that I get throughout that time period or until the lighting changes. Something that I find also is when you shoot in manual and you bring all these pictures into Lightroom and you want to adjust on what you have done, it's really good for batch editing because you know that you've shot this picture this way. So if you made that same mistake 100 times, well, you know what? It's in 100 pictures and it's easier for you to batch edit a whole bunch of pictures once they're shot manual, because you can make the same change for a whole bunch of pictures, and it speeds up that culling process and your editing process as well, so that you can go through and make changes on a lot of pictures. So I recommend shooting manual at an event. And this is your bonus tip. Know the dress code. My dress code was normally black, just all black from head to toe. I just wear all black. But here's what I found. We wear all black to be inconspicuous. In other words, we wear all black so that we don't stick out. But I've had a couple of shoots where I've worn all black and it turns out it wasn't all white party. Oh man. So in my efforts to not stick out, I stuck out like a sore thumb because I was the only one there not wearing all white. So before you decide what you're going to wear to an event, find out what everyone else is going to be wearing to an event. And sometimes wearing all black, just some black pants and a button up, makes you stick out even more. So I find that the more you can be dressed like the crowd that's there, the better, and it helps you sort of blend in so that you don't stick out quite as much. This is not everything that you need to know to shoot an event, but these are definitely 10 things that you should consider for every event that you shoot. My last tip for you is have fun, enjoy your gear, and enjoy making money with the camera. I mean, you can't beat that.